Hey there everyone! Today we're gonna kind of look at what I've been trying to figure out with my ink testing. I did one test with Van Diemen's Freycinet Aquamarine, I think is how this is pronounced, but I'm pretty sure that's not right. I call it Awkward Marine because my friend and I, every time we use this ink, we always get it on ourselves, so we kind of nicknamed it Awkward Marine, and that name kind of stuck. So I picked this one kind of randomly because it's a bottle of ink that I haven't used a lot of. So what I'm going to do to figure out how to pick the next ink that I'm going to test on video for you guys, I've got a spreadsheet with all of my bottles and all of my samples of ink. So each one has its own row. It's got the color family, the special properties, I've got a full bottle, all that fun stuff. So since each one's got its own row, it's got its own number. And I can just put that into a random number generator and pick the next ink. And if I pick one that I've already done, then I'll just draw again. I figure that's kind of be the best way to kind of keep it so that I'm not doing the same kinds of inks every week and every time. And that way I can get inks that I haven't really used, even though I have them, which is kind of the idea of the whole channel. So today, we're doing Awkward Marine. And since I did this one before I got my Moonman Mini, everything that's done in the ink testing has been done with either my TWSBI Go or this calligraphy dip pen set that I got from Michael's a couple weeks ago. It got the job done, but it's not the greatest quality. As you can tell, the nibs are already rusting, which is not great. So hopefully I can find some better quality nibs for this pen. But that's what I use this time. Going forward, I probably won't use this one as much. So, here we go. So I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want to do with my ink testing. Let me zoom in a little bit. Because I was just playing around with it. I like the water testing, I like the layers of shading, I like writing out the story of where like the ink came from and all that, and I like writing out my believing and even the possibility of a happy ending is a very powerful thing sentence. I think that's going to be a great baseline, but I'll play around with what I want to do, and since I do now have this one, I figure we'll do a little something over here with the Moonman so I can kind of see how it behaves with this glass nib. So first things first, put this down. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. There we go. So this is Van Diemen's Freycinet Aquamarine, I would assume. The thinner line was all done with that dip nib, and then when I wrote Awkward Marine, that was with my TWSBI Go in a medium. That's this pen right here. So I've got a full bottle of this. I do actually also have a sample size of it, I believe. Yeah, because as you can see, she wrote Awkward Marine on it. Because what had happened, this is in the story at the bottom, which I can kind of move down so you can see. What had happened was, so she bought me a bottle of this when she went to Australia so that I could save on the shipping, because I had really just gotten her into fountain pens before she went out there, so I kind of blame myself for this. But she offered if I wanted any fountain pen ink from Australia, and this is what I wanted. And so when she brought it back, what ended up happening was she was going to take out a sample of this for herself, and she was going to send me samples of the two inks that she had bought. And she did. She did, to her word, that's what she did, and she texted me and she said, so there was a little bit of a mishap with the ink. Your bottle just spilled all over my counter, and then she just showed me a picture of this just massive murder scene of blue ink. Thank God that this doesn't act like a Bay State ink, because it was pretty easy for her to clean up, thank God. So she asked me what I wanted to do. Did I want her to just send me the half bottle, or she very graciously offered to buy me another full bottle of this, and she would just cover the shipping. And I was like, you don't really have to do that. And she's like, no, I really don't mind. She's a very, very sweet person. I've known her for years. So she very graciously bought me that, and she just threw in the bottle of Spotted Sun Orchid, because that was the other one that I wanted, but I didn't want to get 2 full bottles, so she just got it for me for free, and I was like, you did not have to do this because you messed up. It's totally fine. But she sent me the 2 bottles, which I'm very happy that she did, and as well as the samples of the inks that she had. And you know, ever since, neither of us have ever used this ink without getting it on us, so hence the name Aquamarine. It's a fun story. So we go back up here. So I did a little bit of it, so you can see it's dark. I mean, depending on the pen that you put it in, it gets darker. So you can see with a medium nib and then with like a flexi kind of nib like that. This is a very wet ink. It does take a long time to dry, so I did a little bit of drying time. So I did 5, 10, 20, 30 seconds, and by 30 seconds, it was kind of dry. So I would dub this as not a very fast drying ink. It takes about 30 plus seconds, if not close to a minute, to dry completely. So it was pretty intense there. So we'll go over to the water testing. So what I ended up doing was I put down 2 smallish drops. One of them I soaked up like immediately, and then one of them I kind of rubbed around. So I wouldn't call this water resistant personally. I wouldn't call it like waterproof. I wouldn't call it bulletproof. But if you happen to get some water on it, like this one is where I kind of soaked it up immediately, and then this one is where I kind of let it sit before I sopped it up. So if you get some water on it, it's not the end of the world, but I wouldn't really qualify this as a waterproof ink, personally. Down at the bottom, so I did a couple of layering, and as you can see, so this is why I don't qualify this as that intense of a shading ink. I did 1 layer, so I did up to 3 layers. The color is next to the same. It really is a matter of if you put down, maybe if you put down more ink all at once, it gets darker, which is maybe what happened with the dip pen at the top. You can see. Maybe that's why that one's so much darker than everything else, because I put down more ink all at once. But we'll see what it looks like with the Moon Man. We'll see how this looks, and maybe that'll give me some kind of better insight. I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to ink this bad boy up. Now let's see if I can avoid the curse of Aquamarine if I'm going to get any ink on me. Which I'm going to go with probably. As long as it doesn't end up on my floor, that's really all I care about. Alright, so you can see we got some ink up in there. Yeah, you can see. So if you put down more all at once, it is much darker. So I'll give this an ink rating, because I've seen like Chris Sands, or however you pronounce her last name on here, do this. I'm going to give this one a B+. It's pretty. But messy. And granted, that's probably more user error than anything else. I really like this dip pen. I'm really glad I got it. In a video I saw recently with Fig Boot on pens, he was reviewing some dip pens, and what he said was, just because the pen's made of glass, just because a pen is made of glass, it doesn't mean that it's going to write like you're writing on glass, which is very true. It's not, the most smooth writing experience, or the one with the least feedback, but it's very much, it's a tool, and it does the job, which I appreciate. Alrighty, so we can get, if you want to, I like this angle. If you guys don't like watching the ink get cleaned off the pen, you let me know, but I think it's fun to watch. I like watching the ink kind of just like separate out from the nib. It's just, it is like some grooves where it likes to stick. I'll clean it out later. Alright, so that was my ink test. In the future, I would like to do these live. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I want to keep and what I want to do differently. I'll definitely be doing the dip pen test live, because that's easy enough. If an ink that I'm doing happens to be in a pen, I think that'll be the comparison we get. I'm not going to ink up a pen specifically to do this again, because I'm lazy and I keep my pens inked up as long as I can without having to clean them. That's why I have so many TWSBIs, because they don't have to be inked up all that much. So I'll definitely keep the story, because for the most part all these inks have a story, and if not, I'll make one up, because why not? I think that's fun. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, comment below, like, subscribe. If you've got any recommendations for what I can put in my ink testing pages, let me know. That would be great. I'm open to trying just about anything, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So, see you later, pen friends. Have a great day.